mucky hands today. I'm doing a little bit of leaf suit crafting, and I thought I'd show some of you guys a technique that I wanted to share with you, because when the KMCS green, the latest KMCS green schmock came out, some people have noticed that there are some there's a slight difference in colour. There's a little bit more brown and a little bit more yellows in it than the original KMCS green schmock, which is pretty much solid green. Now the reason that was done is because it makes the green a little bit more versatile. I think I showed a picture a week or so ago when I put the original KMCS green next to the new KMCS green with the flecks of brown and the flecks of yellow in it. And what that does, the human eye, if your green suit, it's hard to explain without showing you, but because there's no brown around at the moment, but if your green suit is, say, in a ferny area, but there's also dead browns in there, and there's brown specks in your suit, the human eye is going to pull out those browns and mix them in with the natural colours around it, and it breaks it up. It's the same principle as DPM pattern. So you're not just one same blob of colour, you're different. And you see this in the camouflage pattern as well. The different shades within the camo, there's some greys in there and there's browns and different shades of green, but those colours, when they are in the natural environment around it, it disrupts that outline and makes it blend into the environment more. So that was why they put in. However, when we get into the depths of summer and we've got solid, but even there, so you've got the bits of brown and the lighter yellows and the flecks in there. But I don't know, the rhododendron bushes are the better example, where you've got solid, much more solid green. Some people have asked about those extra colours in the KMCS green suit. So what I'm doing is I wanted to show you guys something you can do if you are finding that, and this doesn't just work on the KMCS green. If you've got a brown suit, it doesn't even have to be a KMCS suit. It could be any kind of ghillie suit, and you want to add some colour to your leaves. There is quite a good way you can do this, and you're using acrylic ink. Before we get into this, there's two things that you need to do. You need to be aware of. One is acrylic ink is going to not be IRR, meaning that you are going to glow up under night vision. So if you are looking to use your suits against and you've got a KMCS, using acrylic ink is going to mess up the IRR. So if you're using it at night time in mil sims, this might not be something you want to do. But if you are playing in the depths of summer and in the height of summer, and you want to add some more vivid greens to your suits, this could be a useful tip for you. The second thing, before you go doing this, you've got to get the right colour. The main colours that I'm using, three or four main colours. Three main ones. These are acrylic inks, not acrylic paint, they're acrylic ink. That's the important thing. I'm using sap green, olive green, raw umber. The raw umber I use more for shading, more for adjusting the colour slightly on these two. I've got another couple of colours, but that's more for highlighting. But this raw umber is more for changing the shade slightly. So I've added a little bit of this into the olive. I've also got a little bit of water. You could water these inks down, but when I'm applying it to the leaves on the suit, I'm pretty much doing it pretty neat. Now, what's going to be really important, you've got to get your colours right, guys. You've got to be sure of what you're doing. Okay, don't go just grabbing hold and getting the wrong kind of ink, or buying acrylic paint and it's the wrong colours, because once it goes on, that's it. So you've got to be really careful about applying it. Now, the reason these colours are here, these patterns are here for a reason. The browns and the light shades are there at distance. These colours, although up close it looks unnatural, at distance those colours are there for a reason. It is to create, like, look at this area here and look at that area there. You see how you got like little flecks of brown and the lighter colours. You see that colour there, that brown there, and see how closely they match. This is here for a reason, guys. It's not like, oh, this doesn't look like a leaf. But as you take the steps back and you start to realise a few meters away or a little way away, they're there for a reason. However, if your suit is you're finding the area you're going to play on might be too light, like this, the suit is predominantly like this, and if you're going to be playing in areas that are very, very dark green, like over here, then you might want to adjust those colours slightly. Now, to change these colours, not much water, very, very little water, very little water. So this is the sap green, and then doing it one-handed here, it's a little bit tricky because it's one-handed, and then just adding that sap green to the suit there. And then this is a little bit of olive. Now this little bit of olive is a bit dulled down because I've added a little bit of raw umber, so it's got some of this little bit of that raw umber in it, just to get the colour just how I like it. Just going to put the phone down a second, guys. Just put it down over here. So this isn't something that you have to do. This is like just tweaking the colours. We're getting into the height of summer here, and you might want to do this. But two things, you're going to lose a little bit of versatility, because once this is done, the suit is going to be less versatile. It's only going to be usable in really green areas. These sort of areas here, or look, if you're playing in this sort of area, that's why this stuff's here. This allows you to blend more into these areas. However, some of you guys might be playing in, rather than playing in areas like this, and this sort of area here is sort of like pine forest, or a lot of places like Sweden or Norway. But if you're in like the east of England and you're playing a lot of ferns or rhododendron bushes, then you're going to get these solid greens. So it's all dependent on the area you're going to be playing in, guys. So this is just a trick you can use to tweak the colours if you need to. But bear in mind two things. You are going to lose the IRR, infrared retardant quality of the suit. So people with infrared vision are going to be able to more easily see you if you do this. So it's only a daytime suit if you're doing this. And also you've got to make sure that your colours so try your colours first. You've got to experiment with your colours first. So just do a small area. As I said, I've shown you the inks that I'm using at the moment. If you want to also see, I know Ghillie uses this technique, and he's had some excellent results. He's also done it on his brown suit as well. So you can take your KMCS brown suit, and you can use the greens, and you can just add green leaf areas. So where there's the brown strips, you could just do areas of green, splashes of green on it. Okay, so Smithy's over there. Can you guys see him? See his head? So you might be able to see some areas where I've inked. So just above his head. And here also you can see why. So these lighter areas, you can see just a few steps back, you can see why they're there and why it starts to blend in. So you can see how those pale areas, the little flecks, it's like a DPM effect. So up close that doesn't look that natural, but here you see you've got those lighter colours and these lighter colours, and as you take a step back they start to blend into one another, and it draws your eye, and then the outline of it just starts to vanish into the bush. You've got to leave some of these specks in there, but you can see this has been inked. So these areas here have been inked. You can see where that's been inked a little bit. So I have taken off some of some of these areas. See, this has been inked down here, but you've still got to leave some on. So this is just a way of tweaking the suit, you know. It's not something you picking up, ouch, brambles. You are going to lose some versatility. The ink is permanent, so there's no going back once you start it. So you've just got to make sure that you get your colours right first, and go slow. This is just a way of tweaking it, really. If you do want to tweak it and you're finding that the KMCS green anorak has got a bit too much browns in it for your area, then this is just a way of tweaking that, really. So this isn't, again, this is important. It's not, if you haven't done this sort of thing before, just make sure you go really, really slowly with it. Like, it's not essential. It isn't something you have to do. Get your suit out into the natural environment and see how it's working in the natural environment before you do anything. Make sure you give it plenty of space, step back and see how your suit is reacting to the kind of environment you're going to be playing in. This is something only to do if you are feeling very confident about what you're doing. Don't go rushing into this, guys, because it's not, and just also do a little bit at a time and test it, see how the colours are working on your suit. Don't rush in, okay? Adding that natural veg in summer is always going to be your best option. So just be aware you are going to lose versatility in the suit by doing this, but it does give you the ability to tweak it to match the exact environment you're going to be playing in. But I don't want to hear of anybody who's gone in and just bought the wrong paint and dived in and splashed it all over their suit and messed it up, okay, guys? And a little bit, look at the size of the paintbrush I'm using. I haven't got a big paintbrush. I'm not spraying loads of paint over it. It's just really leaves at a time, okay? Slowly, 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 slowly. I don't want to hear any horror stories, guys, okay? I don't want any horror stories, guys, please. Go steady, go careful, take your time. Use a paintbrush, a small paintbrush, leaf at a time, okay? See how it looks. Experiment with it, okay? A little bit at a time. So hopefully this tip is useful for you guys, and don't do it out of boredom either. Another thing I don't want to hear you guys doing, if you haven't used your suits out in the vivid green environments yet, get it out there before doing this, okay? Learn how they work in the environment before you try to change them first, okay? Because the colours on this KMCS green anorak are there for a reason originally. They are there for a reason. You don't just want to be a big green blob. Look how the nature is. You've got the light greens, the dark greens, you've got the flecks of brown. That's what this is, look. That matches, see? You've got these flecks. So don't go thinking this has got to be done. You've got to go and splash loads of green on it to make it more real. That's not going to happen. That is nature, different flecks, okay? You may be playing in an area that is more green. If you are going to be playing in areas that are solid, dense green, like over there, like we just looked at, then you might want to change, might want to tweak it. You're not going to splash a load of paint on, you want to tweak it. You still want to leave some of these areas. You still want to leave some of these areas to disrupt the pattern, disrupt the outline, but you might just want to take some of these browns out. You might just want to take a little bit out if you're going to be playing in those sort of areas. Might just want to take some of those areas of brown out. Maybe. You see how the sap green is a good match to that. But if you're playing in an area that's more like this, you don't need to do this, okay? You need to know where you're going to be playing before you start fiddling. I'm worried there's going to be some horror stories. I don't want any horror stories, okay? Please, no one DM me with horror stories. Cool, son, I am worried. You said to do this, and people have gone and got the wrong colours or the wrong paint or big brushes and splashed it on, and yeah, I am worried. No horror stories.